1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. He's Hacker.
Talk about a fried egg. I lasted about 5 minutes out there. I said, to heck with this. I'll do this in the morning. And I don't have any inside information. The lady that did it, she got in there. She made it happen.
And he doesn't shy away from opinion.
And I do enjoy drinking cold beer at ballparks. So if that makes me a baseball fan, then I'm a diehard baseball fan.
It's Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
And a very good Monday evening to you, Jacksonville. It is Hacker After Dark, 1010XL, 92.5 FM with Dylan Denmark. The Hacker Ryan Green with you. Glad you are with us as we embark on another week, a Victory Monday here in Northeast Florida as the Jacksonville Jaguars got back in the win column, a desperately needed win over the New England Patriots. We will obviously spend a lot of time on that. The Florida Gators get their most dominating win of the year, breaking a 3-game losing streak to the Kentucky Wildcats. And from 1-2, and from the depths of, are they firing Billy Napier any second, any minute, any hour, now all of a sudden, a win over Mississippi State, a win over UCF, a win over Kentucky, probably outplaying Tennessee, although they did lose that game in overtime. Is this just a postponement of the inevitable, or is a corner being turned? Well, we'll find out coming up in the next couple of weeks, certainly. But we will talk Florida, Florida State. My goodness gracious. Holy moly. I don't know, man. I don't know what to say about the Noles after that on Friday night. Now they go to Miami. I believe, what did that line open up? 21 points, I believe. Miami is a 3-touchdown favorite in Coral Gables on Saturday night. So there is a ton to get into on the college gridiron, on the NFL circuit. Couple of games tonight, Baltimore, Tampa, and the Chargers, Cardinals to wrap up Week 7 of the National Football League. And it's a great time of year. The World Series is set with the Yankees and the Dodgers. The NBA regular season opens up tomorrow. So there's a lot to get into. We're glad you're with us for the next couple of hours. We will take you up until 8 o'clock this evening. Every night here on Hacker After Dark, we do kick it off with a big deal of the night. And Dylan Denmark. Let's do that right now.
Time now for the big deal of the night.
What's the big deal?
What is the big deal?
No big deal.
It is a big deal.
On Hacker After Dark.
So 1-5, playing the worst team, arguably the worst team in football, a team that is publicly admitting it is a rebuild, which I thought was interesting. The New England Patriots are very open about the fact it's a rebuild. The Jaguars were 1-5 going into yesterday, and I couldn't believe it. New England, who has not scored the entire year on their opening drive, drives it right down the field like a hot knife through butter and scores on the Jacksonville Jaguars. Not only did they score, but their rookie quarterback, making his second career start, Drake May, threw it to a running back the Jaguars cut in Jermichael Hasty, scoring that first touchdown of the year on an opening drive. And then the Jaguars inevitably do something stupid on a third down, 3rd and 6. They throw it 4 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Don't get it. Have to punt it to New England. New England drives and gets a field goal thanks to 3 Jaguar defensive penalties. So at the end of the first quarter yesterday at Wembley Stadium, it's 10-0. That's adversity, right? Jaguars have not responded well to that for a long time. We heard about the word quit last week. We heard about the word fragile last week. Well, at 10-0 and things aren't going your way, it would have been very easy to resort back to that. But finally, the Jaguars apparently took a good hard look in the mirror on that sideline and said, what are we doing? Self. Let's channel my inner Emeril Lagasse here from back in the day. Self, what are we doing? We're way better than this, and we're certainly better than this team. So after 10-0, the Jacksonville Jaguars figured out that they're supposed to be pretty good. And they started acting like it. scoring 25 consecutive points, including Tank Bigsby, who was spectacular yesterday, including Brian Thomas Jr., who was spectacular yesterday, and including the longest punt return in franchise history, a 97-yard punt return for a touchdown by Parker Washington. That, to me, is what I thought the Jacksonville Jaguars would look like for a majority of the early part of the year. They had not up until yesterday. Now, was that playing a bad team? Or was that the Jaguars playing good football? Maybe equal measures of both. We'll find out in the coming weeks because the schedule obviously gets considerably tougher. But for what yesterday was, I don't think this is going to spark them to winning 5, 6, 7 games in a row. I don't think that, we should be talking playoffs and division championship after getting the second win of the year over the New England Patriots. But what I do think is that finally the Jaguars showed some fight. Finally, the Jaguars actually looked like they enjoyed playing professional football. And finally, the Jaguars responded to some adversity, trailing 10-0 and coming back and absolutely crushing a team that they should have crushed. That was nice. That was a change. And any change, anything different after a 1-5 start, odds are is going to be good. Because we didn't want to see the same old that we saw after 1-5. You wanted to see some different. And yesterday at Wembley Stadium, we saw some different, which was very nice and a very pleasant change to see. So the Jaguars now 2-5 on the year. A couple pieces of business. Number one was Brian Thomas Jr. I said this a couple of weeks ago. I'll restate it now with some statistical data. Now look. Maybe I'm too much of a fantasy football geek or nerd, although I shouldn't be because my fantasy teams have been absolutely atrocious this year. Denmark, I think I'm the worst team in the 10-10XL League. I think I'm legitimately the worst team. I won the league last year. I'm going to be dead last. I'm going to be channeling my Florida State in our 10-10XL Fantasy League. I'm going to go from the top of the mountain to the bottom of the valley. Just horrible. But I am a fantasy football geek, regardless of that. So maybe I'm too much of a stats guy. But I think stats are a pretty good indicator of what reality is. Everybody can have opinions. I like to throw actual numbers at you that have happened in real life. Brian Thomas Jr. in 7 games has caught 30 passes for 513 yards and 4 touchdowns. He is among the top 10 in receiving yardage in the NFL. Not among rookies, but among everybody. 30 for 513 and 4 touchdowns. The Jaguars would not have Brian Thomas Jr. had Tennessee not come in at the 11th hour and quote-unquote stolen Calvin Ridley, right? That's by all indications what happened. Jaguars didn't want to match the $92 million price tag that Tennessee put on Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley, in 1 fewer game, Tennessee's had their bye, in 6 games, has caught 12 passes for 183 yards and 1 touchdown. So receptions, Brian Thomas 30, Calvin Ridley 12. Receiving yardage, Brian Thomas 513, Calvin Ridley 183. And touchdowns, Brian Thomas 4, Calvin Ridley 1. Thank you. Again, goes out to our brethren in Nashville, the Tennessee Titans, for spending a lot of your salary cap on Calvin Ridley and for making the Jaguars pivot and draft a young man named Brian Thomas Jr. Thank you. From the bottom of all of our hearts here in Duval County, we owe you a debt of gratitude. Tank Bigsby. Have we seen a bigger year 1 to year 2 jump in the history of the Jacksonville Jaguars? I really mean that. A bigger year 1 to year 2 jump. You'd have to think about it. We have to go back in the memory banks a little bit. But Tank, and I'm not going to throw stones in a glass house. I was very critical of Tank Bigsby last year. You were as well. But my gosh, man. Over the last month, he's arguably been one of the best running backs in football. Couple of 100-yard games mixed in there. 2 more touchdowns yesterday. Sensational. That guy could not do anything right last year. He can almost do no wrong this year. What is that, 4 touchdowns for Bigsby in the last 3 games? He had 2 against the Colts, right? He had 2 yesterday. I don't know if he had any against Chicago. I've mentally blocked it out because it was so bad last week. But Bigsby's not only getting a lot of yardage, breaking tackles, but he's finding the end zone. If there's a bigger rookie year to second year jump for the Jaguars that you can remember, let me know. Because I think Bigsby might be at the top of that list. Trayvon Walker, another sack. Ventrell Miller doing his thing. It was a good day. But now kind of a gauntlet starts, right? Starting with Green Bay. And I brought this up with Baloo. By the way, a little Monday night coaching with Campo. Dave Campo is going to join me, and Leroy Butler, Pro Football Hall of Famer. Both Campo and Butler join me on Hacker After Dark here in the next 45 minutes. Dave Campo is less than 10 minutes away. Quickly to Green Bay. We'll do more of this as the week goes on, but just something to keep in the back of your mind. How big a deal will this be? I don't really know, but I thought it was interesting, so I'll share it with you. You watched that game yesterday? That was an emotional win for Green Bay over Houston. An emotional win. Last-second field goal by former Jaguar Brandon McManus. You see that? Green Bay wins at Lambeau. Next Sunday, as in 13 days from now, Green Bay has a huge NFC North game against Dan Campbell, Jared Goff, and the Detroit Lions. Huge game. And sandwiched right in the middle of the Houston game yesterday and the Detroit game in 13 days is a trip to Jacksonville, to 2-5 Jacksonville. A Jacksonville team that just got flexed off of Sunday Night Football. They're no longer going to Sunday night in Philly. That game's now 4 o'clock next Sunday, 13 days from now. Classic opportunity for a sandwich game for the Packers. In between the Texans and the Lions, you got this trip to Duval County. Will that come to fruition? Does that mean anything? I don't know. That's for you to decide, for you to ponder over these next few days. I just simply thought I'd throw it out there. Big game. And by the way, we already know there'll be thousands and thousands of Green Bay fans here. That's something you'll have to overcome, something you'll have to deal with. But Green Bay begins what is the season for the Jaguars. These next 5 games will tell the tale. Is there any hope for the 5 games at the end of the year? Well, if there is hope to be, the Jaguars at minimum have to go 3-2 in the next 5. And that begins Sunday with the 5-2 Green Bay Packers rolling in. Again, former Packer, Pro Football Hall of Famer Leroy Butler joins me in less than 40 minutes. Coming up next, Dave Campo. It's always Monday night coaching with Campo here on Hacker After Dark. The former head coach of the Dallas Cowboys joins me to review New England and to preview Green Bay. That's next on a Monday night in Northeast Florida. We're glad you're with us. With Dylan Denmark, the Hacker Ryan Green with you. It's Hacker After Dark right here on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM.
Learn the ins and outs and ups and downs of the man under center.
Don't just watch the position, learn the position.
Friday mornings on The Drill. Denny Thompson is
The Quarterback Whisperer.
brought to you by Tyson Sound and Security and George Moore Chevrolet on 1010XL.
David Lane here again for Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. After several surgeries for age-old issues, mainly my back and shoulders, there's no doubt that Southeast Orthopedic Specialists is my sustaining resource for living pain-free. Take it from me, and I'm being really honest here, there's no better orthopedic facility here in Jacksonville.
Relieve pain and get back to life. SOS. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
Instant Keys saves the day if you have lost or broken keys. They can program new keys and remotes for nearly every make and model of vehicle at a fraction of the dealership cost. Fast, honest, and reliable locksmith service. Call 722-1111.
Instant Keys. Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
I've known Glenn Coleman for a long time as a friend and a lawyer. Persistent and fair, Glenn and his firm have represented clients from North Florida and South Georgia for over 40 years in all kinds of personal injury cases. If I had such a case, call Glenn at Barnes, Cohen, and Sullivan.
Welcome to ABS Advanced Business Solutions, your local authorized technology partner and home to Xerox copiers.
Advanced Business Solutions.
He used to cover the Jags. Now he's a CBS Sports senior NFL writer.
Well, I believe you got everybody's attention.
He's Pete Prisco. Friday afternoons on The Frangie Show. Brought to you by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles on 1010XL.
This is Corona Premier. Just 90 calories and 2.6 grams of carbs. It's a light beer that... Wait, this is a light beer? But we should really tell people about... Right, that's why I'm here. Sorry. Corona Premier, unexpectedly, light beer.
Need or want cash? Beach's Jewelry and Pawn has cash available. Ready to buy guitars, surfboards, jewelry, firearms, tools, and especially gold. They need it all, selling or pawning. Get cash on the spot at Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach.
Mia here, hoping everyone had a profitable betting weekend on MyBookie. And guess what? You have an absolute treat tonight with a Monday night doubleheader. The Ravens go to Tampa and play the Bucs with an over-under point total already at 49.5. The Ravens defense is a pass funnel on MyBookie right now for a same-game prop parlay. If Baker Mayfield gets to 260 passing yards and 2 touchdowns, it returns $246 on a $100 bet. I really like those odds with how the Bucs offense is buzzing. The Chargers, meanwhile, visit the Cardinals, and they're going to try and slow the game down and run it all day because that's what Jim Harbaugh likes to do. I'm betting the under 44 game total. MyBookie has the best sign-up bonus in the industry, folks, for Florida bettors. Our listeners can sign up and use promo code 1010XL to claim a bonus that doubles your money on your first deposit up to $1,000. Promo code 1010XL to claim your double deposit bonus for Monday Night Football. Bet anywhere, anytime, and make your season a winning season with MyBookie.
Homeowners, listen up. The Fed is taking action, lowering rates for the first time in years, and Loan Pronto has followed suit, lowering mortgage rates big time. Prosser here. That means this is the best chance in 2 years to do a cash-out refi and unlock all that equity at an amazing rate. Loan Pronto has fixed loans under 5% APR, the lowest in 2 years. You can get a fast refi and get $50,000 to $75,000, even $100,000 in cash. Use it to pay off all your credit cards, personal loans, car loans. You'll end up with one payment each month. And for most homeowners, they save over $850 every month. If you want to keep your original mortgage intact, ask about the Loan Pronto Express Equity Line of Credit. If you act now, you can even skip your next 2 house payments. So call now. Get your rate quote in minutes with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees like those other guys. 999-1508 or loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781.
Universal Roof and Contracting presents the Offensive Player of the Game. Universal Roof and Contracting. The difference is universal.
Tank Bigsby was sensational across the pond for Jacksonville. The teal and black running back recorded 118 yards on 26 carries and added in 2 touchdowns in what was a special performance. They took his x-rays before the ball game, and the results came back that he had that dog in him. Tank Bigsby is your Universal Roof and Contracting Offensive Player of the Game.
Rake in the savings this fall with Universal Roof and Contract. Enjoy 15% off all roof repairs and replacements with financing options as low as $115 a month. Protecting your home has never been easier. Schedule your free roof inspection today. Call 855-ROOF-HELP. This offer expires October 31st. Protect your home and your wallet. License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
UniversalRoof.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line.
Hello.
We can wiggle it.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. The Jaguars and the Packers come up this Sunday, 1 o'clock. Of course, you'll hear the game right here on 1010XL. Green Bay coming in a very impressive 5-2. Jacksonville 2-5, although feeling considerably better than this time last week after a 32-16 victory over the New England Patriots. Let's recap New England. Let's look ahead to Green Bay, and it's Monday night, which means a little Monday night coaching with Campo. My buddy Dave Campo, former head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, is with us every Monday here on Hacker After Dark. Coach, how are you, my friend?
I'm good, much better than last week. Good win, and that makes for a good victory Monday.
There's no doubt about it, and you say it all the time, and you live this life for decades. It's hard to win in the NFL, and even though New England, albeit isn't a great team by any stretch, the Jaguars just simply needed a W to feel better about what they were doing, and they got a much-needed W on yesterday's performance.
Yeah, no question about it. I think the game is obviously a tough sell because you got guys that are getting paid on both sides of the ball, both teams, and they're elite from the standpoint that they're the top 1% in the country. So, you really have to look at it like no matter who you're playing, that's not your fault. You play the guys and you win. That's it.
Coach, two big offensive performances yesterday. Really, there were a few, but let's focus on the two young guys that are getting all the attention today. And let's begin with Brian Thomas Jr. Now, 30 catches on the year, 513 yards receiving, 4 touchdowns. I believe Brian Thomas is in the top 5 or 6 for receiving yardage in the entire NFL. He leads all rookies in receiving yardage. I saw a crazy stat that the first guy with 30 or fewer catches with over 500 yards in his rookie year since Randy Moss in 1998. That's the caliber of big plays that Brian Thomas is doing so far, 7 games in. Just your thoughts on the Jaguars, what is now clearly their wide receiver 1.
Well, let me put it this way. I think he is a wide receiver 1 and will be a wide receiver 1 if he continues on the trajectory he's on now. I don't want to compare him to Randy Moss yet because Moss mossed me a few times over the course of his career. But the guy has got speed. He's got catchability. He's not afraid to mix it up in the blocking. I really like the guy. And to be honest with you, obviously that was a great play, the long pass, the 58-yarder. But the 2-point play that he is excellent in the red zone, keeping his feet in and making catches on the back line. And that 2 points ultimately gave us a 9-point lead at the end, which is big. So, that was a good performance. I think he's shown that he has a potential to be very, very good.
It's interesting, Coach. The Calvin Ridley comparison's always going to be there because Tennessee came and got Ridley from underneath the Jaguars by all, people that I've talked to, kind of a surprising move at the 11th hour. And because of that, the Jaguars had to pivot to Brian Thomas. Calvin Ridley, 12 catches for 183 yards and a touchdown in Tennessee, making $23 million a year, and he's going to be 30 in December. Brian Thomas just turned 22. He's got 30 grabs for over 500 yards and 4 touchdowns on a rookie contract. And Trent Baalke traded back in the draft to get him, acquiring an additional 3rd and 4th round pick in 2025. Look, Baalke gets a lot of grief, and sometimes with good reason. I'm not going to argue that. But when the guy does something like that, give credit where credit's due. He didn't overpay for Ridley, and he drafted a stud in Brian Thomas.
Well, when you look at it, obviously I don't want to disparage Ridley. I think Ridley's a good player. I don't think that he has the same supporting cast at quarterback right now over there. So that's part of it. But Ridley, didn't come out as good as we'd hoped he would with some of the decisions he made on routes and missed decisions and that. But the one thing about this guy, the guy here, Trent Trent did a great job on it, and I think they had him targeted. As soon as they lost Ridley, they were taking him. And, obviously I talked to a number of guys at LSU, especially Ogeron, and, they were over the moon about that kid. So they looked at him and they said, hey, look, this guy's got a chance to make us a great passing ball club, and he can do that for sure.
Monday Night Coaching with Campo. Dave Campo here with us on Hacker After Dark. Brian Thomas at wide receiver. Equally as impressive yesterday, Coach, was Tank Bigsby at running back. $118 on the ground, a couple of touchdowns. That's the second time he's gone over 100 yards in the last 3 games. Tank Bigsby, you want to talk about a ridiculous turnaround in a positive way from a rookie year to year number 2. Boy, Tank Bigsby's living that life right now.
Yeah, I'm excited about his ability. The guy has got really good eyes, as we've talked about a lot. He can make the cuts. He can jump cut at the line of scrimmage. He's not afraid of contact. He's going to go seek it out in that second level a little bit. I think he'll get even better of avoiding a little bit of that contact to make some really big runs. I like the guy. I think he's a quality back in the league. He's physical. He's got speed. He's got acceleration. So, that's a good pick for us. I'm happy that he made the adjustment. I think from a confidence level, that hurt him last year when he made a couple of bad plays. I think the guy's grown up a little bit, and obviously he has the trust of our team now and the coaching staff. I look for big things from him going forward.
Coach, what was your assessment of Trevor Lawrence's play yesterday?
I like the way he played. I think he's doing a really good job now of getting rid of the ball when he has to get rid of it. The play that makes me feel the best was the long pass to number 7. In previous games, he tried to gun those balls when guys were open. In this one, he laid it up there and let the talent of the receiver make the play. Plus, the 2-point throw was an outstanding throw. He threw it before Thomas was open. He put it right where he had to put it, on the back of the end line. He's doing some good things. I think he's getting a little bit better there. And he when he had the opportunity, he looked and took off and ran for a first down. So I think it was a good performance, and hopefully he will continue to grow on that.
The head coach, Dave Campo, here with us on Hacker After Dark. Coach, final question on the offense. The offensive line really established themselves yesterday, even though they didn't get any points out of it. A 17-play, 11-minute drive, or for the most part, they just moved the ball at will on the ground. Cam Robinson left the game with a concussion. Walker Little came in, didn't miss a beat. It was probably the offensive line's best performance they've had in quite some time.
Well, I think it was, and I think you have to look at the last 2 or 3 games. They've actually gotten better, and some of it is just the ability to play together, and I think, Walker Little coming in is not a downgrade, in my opinion. I think he's a good pass defender or pass dropper to handle the outside rushers because of his athletic ability. Plus, they're using him and pulling and some of the things to run some of the power stuff. I think the offensive line played extremely well. I don't think this was a great defensive line that they were playing against. But again, it's not, it's not their fault that they're playing against an inferior group. But they did well yesterday, and I hope that continues.
Coach, defensively, Trayvon Walker has, I believe, 16 sacks now in his last 24 ball games. I believe he's tied for 3rd. He's certainly in the top 5 currently for sacks in the National Football League, with 6 quarterback sacks in the first 7 games. Has the light come on? Was it a matter of what everybody said? It was just going to take time to develop. Why is Trayvon Walker seemingly so much better now than he has been in the past?
Well, you got to remember now, what did he have last year? 9 sacks, right?
10. Yeah, he finished with 10.
10. Okay. I think he's becoming more versatile. with his pass rush. I think originally he was strictly just a bull in the china shop. Get on that tackle, try to push him back into the quarterback. I think now he's getting more on the edge. He's really putting some pressure on the tackle with his get off, which, I think with his hand on the ground has helped him. I can see him as a double-digit sack guy. He puts the pressure on the tackle and has come underneath the tackle a few times to make some plays. I think he just, with experience, he's getting better at it. He plays the run really well, but I think he's getting better at the pass rush with a little bit more experience. He's not quite as quick-twitched as Hutchinson, which obviously is going to be a comparison the whole time he's in the league, unfortunately. But he is very athletic. Hutchinson's not a better athlete than he is. So I think he's one of those guys that you can count on to really put pressure on the quarterback and obviously play the run better than Hutchinson.
Coach, final look back on yesterday before we take a brief look ahead to Green Bay. The Jaguars were ravaged by injuries a lot, which is, some of the blame, not all, but some of the reason they are where they are at 2-5. But they're starting to get a little healthy, right? Evan Ingram's now back. He's had 15 catches his 2 games back. Tyson Campbell returned. Foye Oluwakin's going to return sooner rather than later. There's talk Dewey Wingard will be back in the next week or two. I mean, slowly but surely, the guys are coming back. And quickly, with that thought, back to Tyson Campbell, what did he mean for the secondary, having him back in the lineup yesterday?
Well, personally, I was a little disappointed on the way we handled the injuries. I think that obviously it's a plus with getting these guys back, which will bode well for the future. But I'm afraid we put a little bit too much of a hole, with how we finished some games early. But Tyson Campbell, obviously Campbell can cover. That's the first time I felt, watching him yesterday when he dropped that interception. But I mean, his coverage ability is far above what they've had out there, and that allows you to do a few more things with your secondary. Our secondary struggles a little bit. They made some changes. They had Savage in there instead of Johnson, which I think was a plus. But again, coming off injury at the right time, hopefully we can win one more next week and then one more after that. And, I think this team is capable of winning games when they get into games, as long as they make plays when they're there. And I think that's a plus going forward right now.
Final moments with the head coach, Dave Campo. A little Monday night coaching with Campo here on Hacker After Dark. All right, it's a different monster that comes in on Sunday. The Green Bay Packers roll in fresh off a really emotional win for them. A last-second field goal from former Jaguar kicker Brandon McManus to beat the Houston Texans yesterday at Lambeau Field. Interesting, Coach, and I'm just going to throw it out there. I don't know if it means anything, but it means something to me. And, Green Bay is on national television in Week 9 against Dan Campbell and the Detroit Lions in a huge NFC North matchup. They just had an emotional win yesterday over a previously 5-1 Houston Texan team, and sandwiched right in the middle is the 2-5 Jaguars here in Jacksonville. Not sure if that means anything, but thought I'd throw it out there. Having said that, it will be a tough matchup for the Jaguars. What's your early thought on the Packers rolling in here?
Well, first of all, I kind of agree with you from the standpoint that we're probably in a good position right where we're at with this team coming in. They're going on the road. They just had a big win, and I guarantee you they took notice of Houston, and they're taking notice of Detroit. I'm not sure how much notice they're taking of the Jaguars right now, and I think that's a plus. At the same time, you're really going to see two things in the game. Number one, you're going to see if the Jaguars have made some improvement and have a chance to win a few games here in the next 4 or 5. But you're also going to see who the Green Bay Packers are. Because this is a critical game for them from the standpoint of keeping it going to where they're in contention for the North. So I think that we're in a good spot. We're at home. We're coming off a good performance. In order to win this game, though, Hack, we're going to still have to eliminate mistakes. You know, we had a really poor touchdown against us on that zone blitz that left an end from one side having to cover a back on the other side of the field. We had a couple of situations where we jumped off sides 3 times in one drive. Those kind of things that we busted a coverage. We really have to, play clean football. I think we improved this week, but this is going to be a really tough ball game. I think Green Bay's a good football team. I think the quarterback is executing, and they've got some guys that can then make some plays on that ball club. I think they can rush the passer. So there's a lot of things going to be seen by both teams in this game. Personally, I'd rather be right where we are right now, and especially at home, rather than going on the road to play this team.
You get the head coach, Dave Campo, every Monday here on Hacker After Dark. And, of course, this Sunday, the Jaguars-Packers, 2 hours after it goes final. We will have the 5th quarter for you live from Island Girls Cigar Bar over on Gate Parkway. Hopefully, we'll be lighting up a couple of victory cigars after that game. It's going to be a tough one, but we'll see if the Jaguars can pull it out against Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers. Coach, thank you as always. I'll see you Sunday at Island Girls Cigar Bar for the 5th quarter, my friend.
Absolutely, and I hope that Leon has a couple of those big sources over there.
Absolutely. Thank you, Coach.
All right, have a good one, Hack.
Get insight from the Jags head coach.
I believe that our goals are still in front of us.
Doug Peterson joins the Frangie Show Fridays at 4:05. Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson, Custom Windows and Doors. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars on 1010XL.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Let's start the debate. Why would someone buy a new car from you? We have an exclusive 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty on every new vehicle. We offer a competitive wow price plus free oil changes. How much will someone get for their trade? We offer more than $4,000 over KBV value. Well, we never lose a trade over price. Okay, when is the best time to buy a car? Right now. Ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't matter which side you pick. At Beaver Toyota and Beaver Chevrolet, you get it all. Let us show you why we're the winning vote.
Does the building you go to work in every day need a little love and attention? Jason Parker here with Performance Painting. Great companies take great care of the buildings their staff and customers walk into every day. If the building you're in doesn't match the vision you have for your company, we can help. Go to performance-painting.com. Our highly trained team makes the difference. Quality coatings applied with pride.
Performance Painting.
Have you or someone you care about been arrested or had their driver's license taken away? I'm Susan Cohen, and I work with David Robbins at the law firm of Epstein & Robbins. We are experienced fighters for those charged with DUI and all criminal offenses. I've been named the best DUI attorney in the state, and David has been named the best criminal defense lawyer in Jacksonville. In your battle with the justice system, there is only one thing you need to know. Dial David 24/7 at Epstein & Robbins, 354-5645.
You don't have to be a football star to get a signing bonus. The team at Republic Services needs your skills, and they're paying up to $5,000 for you to join the roster. You'll be joining a winner. As an essential business, the Republic Services trucks have not stopped rolling with hourly and weekly pay and better benefits and vacation packages than the rest of the league. Driver trainees, $1,000 sign-on bonus. CDL drivers, $3,000. Diesel mechanics, $5,000 bonus. Join the winning team at Republic Services today. Visit republicservices.com.
Equal opportunity employer.
If the Florida heat is getting you down and you're sweating up a storm, fire up a phone call to Florida Home AC and order an AC tune-up. It's the best way to beat the heat and keep your AC unit working at peak performance. Log on to FloridaHomeAC.com for their tune-up special and make sure you're primed for the peak of that heat. Florida Home AC, the official AC provider of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and just a phone call away at 777-4300. Order that tune-up today.
Weekends were made for sports, and I'll tell you my take on this weekend's best options. Pick it here. Watch for Weekend with Dan on YouTube and Facebook. Weekend with Dan is brought to you by Stone Core. We do outdoors better.
Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. Since 1977, we've been Jacksonville's local family jeweler with a beautiful selection of fine jewelry and GIA-certified diamonds. But we're also Jacksonville's leading buyer of gold, silver, and diamonds from the public. Gold has recently hit an all-time high at over $2,300 per ounce and hasn't seen this level in over 13 years. Pay bills, buy something fun. Now is the time to sell your gold for cash and get top dollar, or trade it for a new piece and get even more value at Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
The experts at AMCO have been fixing cars for almost 60 years. Over that time, they've gotten more complex than ever. That's why our techs undergo rigorous training and certifications, so they can fix anything, including the most complicated repairs that come with some of the latest technologies. After 60 years, there's nothing we haven't seen or fixed. It's how we know cars inside and out.
Money tight? We can finance almost anybody. Find the AMCO transmissions nearest you at amcojacksonville.com.
What defines a hero? Dedication, loyalty, courage. Every day at AMCO, we serve heroes. For over 60 years, we've repaired and maintained the most critical public service vehicles. From complex transmissions to simple brake jobs with flexible financing and the extra safety precautions we need. The heroes we serve don't all wear uniforms. They're people like you. At AMCO, we're proud to serve all of you. AA MCO.
Family owned and operated in Jacksonville, Orange Park, St. Augustine, and St. Mary's, Georgia.
Hurricane season on the First Coast can leave you in the dark, so why not get a head start on storm season with a home generator system from American Electrical? They've sold and installed more generators in Jacksonville than any other company around, with scores of whole home generator installations throughout North Florida. That's right, American Electrical has been installing and repairing thousands of generators for over a decade in Duval. Keep your loved ones and property protected. Log on to american-electrical.com and see how they can help you.
Hey, Hicken here. I want to talk skin along with my friends at Peaches Dermatology, reminding you to wear your sunscreen. Football season is back, baby. And with that, days under that bright sun. So when you load up that truck for the game day tailgate, or the chairs for your kids' flag games, or even the boat heading downtown to watch our Jags, make sure you bring the screen. Sunscreen, that is. It's a must here in Duval. But if you have any concerns right now, give Beaches Dermatology a call online at beachesdermatology.com.
What's changed totally inside and out? The Kuhn Flowers massive storefront, and yes, they've totally remodeled the showroom inside too. This is Frank Frangie, and the next time you drive by, stop and smell the roses at Kuhn Flowers.
October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and Ackerman Cancer Center offers women's health, diagnostic, and screening services, including contract-enhanced mammography and total body MRI. Early detection is the key. Visit AckermanCancerCenter.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
More Jaguar conversation coming up in just a bit. Tom McManus joins me towards the bottom of the 7 o'clock hour. Always love talking ball with Tommy Mack, as we'll again review the win yesterday over New England, take a deep dive into the Jaguar defense, including, I'm going to ask Tom, flat out, is Ventrell Miller as good as we all perceive him to be? Tom obviously knows a thing or two about playing linebacker in the NFL, because when I see 51 out there, he's absolutely all over the place. So I want to talk to Tom about that, among other things. So Tom McManus joins me towards the bottom of the 7 o'clock hour, and Pro Football Hall of Famer, former Green Bay Packer, and, of course, former Florida State Seminole, Jacksonville's own Leroy Butler, joins me, in about 20 minutes or so, a little under 20 minutes, as we'll talk Green Bay, Jacksonville. We'll talk Florida State, Miami, amidst other things, with one of my favorites, Leroy Butler. He comes up in less than 20 minutes. To the Florida Gators. Say what you will about Billy Napier, and I know a lot of you have said it and continue to say it with every right to. Look, you're frustrated where the team has been. You're frustrated about the way the season started. Most of you have wiped your hands free of Billy Napier. You're counting down the minutes, counting down the hours, counting down the days until Billy Napier goes bye-bye from Gainesville. Fair enough. Not going to argue that with you, not going to dispute that with you, because I don't necessarily disagree with some of that. But the problem is, and we talked about this a couple of weeks ago as well, They're starting to win some games. They've won 3 out of 4. And again, in the interest of fairness, if you're going to crush the guy when he's losing, you got to be commendable when he's winning. And they've beat Mississippi State, they've beat UCF, and they beat the tar out of Kentucky. A Kentucky team that went into Oxford a couple of weeks ago and beat Ole Miss. A Kentucky team that almost beat Georgia. That's a decent Kentucky football team, particularly on the defensive side of the ball. And DJ Lagway and Jaden Baugh and those young Florida Gators had their way with the Wildcats on Saturday night. Florida should have a 4-game winning streak. Billy Napier and the coaching staff fumbled away the Volunteer game up in Knoxville. I agree with that. That was a bad coaching job. Because Billy Napier, I don't feel, is a terrific game day coach. But what I do think is this team could have rolled over and died, man. At 1-2, and most of you calling for Napier's job the Sunday after the A&M game, which you know you did. This team could have rolled over and died. This team could have said the heck with this. This team could have stopped listening to Coach Napier, stopped listening to that staff. You could have had turmoil in that locker room. All sorts of things could have happened with the noise in the system, right? The outside noise about everybody in Gator Nation wanting to replace Billy Napier. But for whatever reason, none of that happened. For whatever reason, they've started playing better. Offensively, defensively, they're certainly better on defense than they were the first month of the year. And you've strung together some victories. Look, when the Gators were 1-2 after getting just absolutely crushed by Texas A&M, how many of you honestly thought they'd be 4-3 going into their next bye week? How many of you thought they would go to Starkville and beat Mississippi State? How many of you thought they would beat UCF? And how many of you thought they would beat Mark Stoops and the Kentucky Wildcats, a Kentucky team that had beaten them 3 years in a row? Now look, Mississippi State, UCF, and Kentucky, none of them are ranked. They're nothing great. Mississippi State's below average, certainly. UCF, average at best, probably below average. I would say Kentucky's an average Power 4 team. But we all thought Florida was dog meat a month ago. We thought Florida was awful a month ago. They're not awful. I was talking to a couple of guys earlier today. Jesse Simonton was one of them from On 3. He made a great analogy, and I want to give him credit for it. You know that scene in The Princess Bride, one of my favorite movies with Billy Crystal and Casey Ewells and Andre the Giant? Carrie Ewells, I guess. By the way, it's not Carrie Elwes, it's Carrie Ewells. I found that out a couple of years ago. Princess Bride, you know the movie. It's a classic. Remember the scene at Mad Max's house where they're trying to bring the guy back to life? And Mad Max says there's a difference between mostly dead and all dead. What'd he say? All dead, all you can do is go through their pockets and look for loose change. There's no reviving them. Well, in some cases in that movie, somebody was only mostly dead. Mostly dead means slightly alive. I thought that was a great analogy that Jesse Simonton used with me earlier today in talking about Billy Napier at Florida. Billy Napier at Florida is like Mad Max said in The Princess Bride. He's mostly dead. But mostly dead means slightly alive. That's what happens when you beat UCF. That's what happens when you beat Mississippi State. That's what happens when you beat Kentucky. It's not all dead. He would have been all dead if he would have lost any of those games, probably, or certainly a couple of those games. So now, beating those teams has bought him the gauntlet. And we all know the gauntlet. It begins 12 days from today with the world's largest outdoor cocktail party. Then it goes to Texas. Then it comes back to Gainesville for both LSU and Ole Miss. And then what looks like to be a very winnable game in Tallahassee against Florida State. Is Billy Napier going to be the coach in 2025? I would tend to doubt it. I still think it's a very, very uphill climb, an uphill battle, because I don't think they're going to have a whole lot of success, particularly against Georgia, Texas, and LSU. I'm not breaking any news there. But again, how many of us picked them to beat Kentucky? How many of us picked them to beat UCF? I did. I'll pat myself on the back. I guess how many of you did would be the better question. Like they said in The Princess Bride, when you're all dead, all you can do is go through their pockets and look for loose change. Billy Napier's not all dead yet when it comes to the Gator job. He's only mostly dead. But again, that means slightly alive. And if they play like they did against Kentucky, they can beat one or two of those teams in the gauntlet. And if they do, Billy Napier's the coach in 2025. If they get one or two victories in these next four, if they beat Ole Miss, if they beat LSU, holy smokes, if they were to beat Georgia or Texas, he's going to get 2025, whether you like it or not. He's going to earn that at that point. You crush Napier when he's down, fair enough. Give him credit when they're winning. And they've won 3 out of 4, and they were dominant in the win Saturday night over Kentucky. That was a good win for Billy Napier and for Florida football. Let's talk Florida State, Miami. Let's get back into the NFL with Green Bay and the Jags. Let's do that with a Pro Football Hall of Famer. My pal Leroy Butler joins me next on a Monday night in Jacksonville, Florida. We're glad you're with us. Hacker After Dark, 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Everything you need to know about your hometown team.
Jaguars today.
Go inside the Jags and the NFL every day from 10 to noon with Mike, Tony, and Jags Insiders.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios at 1010XL.
Awaken 180 weight loss. Awaken 180 weight loss. You know, I had a great call with Awaken 180 earlier today. I'm actually speaking at their quarterly meeting coming up this Friday. They shared something with me that I could not believe. I've lost more weight on Awaken 180 than any radio endorser they've ever had. Ever in the history of the company. I'm down 107 pounds. That's more weight than any radio endorser has ever lost with Awaken 180. I can't believe it. But I guess I should believe it, because Awaken 180 is the best weight loss program I've ever been on. The results speak for themselves. 107 pounds since late February. If you need to lose weight to change your life, to change the trajectory of your life, just like I did, take it from somebody that's lost over 100 pounds and go to Awaken180weightloss.com.
Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL.
Do the Garber wiggle, Garber wiggle, 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 Garber wiggle.
If you're looking for a pre-owned vehicle with lifetime warranty, Garber Auto Mall can wiggle it. Best price, best payment, best trade-in value, Garber Auto Mall can wiggle it. With a huge selection of pre-owned vehicles, Garber Auto Mall can wiggle it. Visit us in Green Cove Springs or at GarberAutomall.com. And remember, at Garber Auto Mall, there is always a little room for wiggle.
Garber wiggle, Garber wiggle, 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 Garber wiggle.
Baloo here for Smoonez Vision. Why Smoonez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Smoonez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Smoonez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Smoonez is fellowship trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SmoonezVision.com today. Care you can see.
This is Keith Scott with Veterans Wholesale Cabinets. We are Northeast Florida's cabinet experts and your best option to elevate your home improvement project for both homeowners and contractors, and attention to detail to every project. VeteransWholesaleCabinets.com.
The flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Poker players, brace yourselves. The World Poker Tour storms into Best Bet Jacksonville October 31st to November 19th, and the forecast calls for massive prize pools. Event 1 has a cool $200,000 guarantee. Event 6, a downpour of $300,000. And the main event, a flood of a $1 million guarantee. WPT Championship satellites are already brewing. Don't get left high and dry. Head to bestbetjacks.com for details. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Hey, Jacksonville Koozies, it's me, Soccer Sam, for Salvatore's Pizza. Rochester, New York's favorite pizza is now open in Jacksonville, Florida, Tapestry Park at the Loft Hotel Plaza. Daily $10 deals, dine in with beer and wine, and delivery at salvatores.com. The famous Formoso family brings Salvatore's Pizza, Rochester's favorite pizza, including our 32-piece sheet pizza for your next event. Go with me, baby. Salvatores.com.
If you are an experienced electrician looking for your next big opportunity, look no further than the Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller Electric, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering you the chance to showcase your skills on a grand scale. We believe in rewarding hard work with the best pay, top-notch benefits, and an unbeatable culture where people actually care about each other. Take your career to new heights with Miller Electric Company. Apply today at millercareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
Bueller Air and Plumbing presents Are You Cool?
Today's contestant, a gravy taster from Jacksonville, Florida, me, Dennis Mosley. Hi, Ken. Okay, Dennis. 100 plumbers surveyed, top answer on the board. What does it mean if someone says your home has hard water?
It's made of ice? Let's see, hard water. Oh, is it club soda mixed 4-to-1 with vodka?
Last chance, Dennis. What is hard water?
Oh, is it that lime scale stuff that makes my taps all crusty?
That's right, Dennis. And a water treatment system from Bueller Air and Plumbing will eliminate troublesome lime scale deposits that can ruin your expensive appliances and let your neighbors know for sure that you are cool.
I wonder if I can get me a gin and tonic faucet.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
I'm living proof that with Rebound Rehab, you can bounce back and get back in the game. Joe C. for Rebound Rehabilitation, and they helped me recover from an ankle injury that had me down and out. Their team of physical therapists ensure you'll get the best treatment you need to recover and regain mobility. From back, shoulder, and neck pain to a nagging knee or arthritis, Rebound Rehab can help form a game plan through therapy and exercise, complete with an app so you can continue to recover at home. Check out reboundrehab.com. 8 convenient locations.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you. For lost or broken keys or nearly any make and model of vehicle, call 722-1111 for Instant Keys locksmith service.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line. Hello. We can wiggle it.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville, we are glad you are with us. The Jaguars and the Packers, Sunday at 1 o'clock. Of course, you'll hear the game right here on 1010XL Radio. Green Bay coming in at 5-2, feeling awfully good about a last-second win over Houston. Jacksonville just happy to get back in the win column as they got back in with a win over the New England Patriots. Let's talk about the Jaguars and the Packers. Let's also talk about Florida State Miami with a former Seminole, a former Green Bay Packer, and an NFL Hall of Famer. That is, of course, Jacksonville's own Leroy Butler, always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Leroy, how you doing?
Doing good, Ryan. How you doing, buddy?
Leroy, we're good. Thank you for the time, as always. And all right, let's start with the bad, and then we'll get to the good, right? Let's start with Florida State first. Leroy, I mean, you played for some ridiculous teams with Coach Bowden, obviously the history and everything there in Tallahassee. As an alum of the school, what's your thought on what's gone on here in 2024?
Well, I think one of the biggest things is the momentum of the season. Last year was very high. I mean, because we all agreed if Jordan Travis, when he got hurt, you know, we'd probably been in that maybe been in the playoffs. So put that to the side. After that, after that, Ryan, it seemed like the portal has been very good to us. That's how we got the Keon Coleman's of the world. When DJ came in, I really didn't know a lot about him. I really didn't. So you have to rely on the school and the coaches to coach him up. And to say it's a disappointment at 1-6, it would be an understatement because of the standard that we've always set at FSU. But at this particular time, there's a few positions you can't miss on. You just can't. And that's defensive line, edge rusher, cornerback, and quarterback. You just can't miss if you want to be in an expanded playoff now. Now it's expanded. It ain't like 4, 5, 6 teams anymore. No, it's, and when you got to be bowl eligible, I think after 5 or 6 wins, to know that you're not going to be that in a bowl when they got so many bowls, Ryan. Me and you may even have a bowl out there, so many bowls. I mean,
yeah.
It's very disappointing. It is disappointing, but you also have to look at the reality of it is how do you move forward with the team next year? You got to do what you've always done. You got to figure out a way to get your quarterback in there, going to be there for the future. Recruiting has to be at a higher clip. And playing people like Miami, that's how you get the big recruits, okay? Because you throw all the records out when you play the Hurricanes. Now, full disclosure, some of my best friends are Hurricanes, like Michael Irvin, of course, the Blade brothers. But when we played these guys, we don't know what our record was, and we didn't know what theirs was. We just know if we beat Miami, everybody feels like they're on the same page.
Pro Football Hall of Famer Leroy Butler here with us. And you mentioned Miami and final Florida State thought before we get to Green Bay. Look, as improbable as it is, and it's improbable, you know that, right? I mean, you're a 21-point underdog, but stranger things have happened. Sports is the ultimate reality show. We've seen stranger things happen. I mean, this would be a season saver, right? If Florida State were to go to Coral Gables and win. I don't think many people are predicting that, but man alive, Leroy, if it does happen, what a win that would be.
I'll tell you what, for Mike Norvell, who I respect a lot, I just love the guy. I mean, he's a leader. He's been in a position to win a lot of big games. This it wouldn't put the fire out, Ryan, but it'll put the blaze out. How about that? I mean,
hey, look,
you still.
Miami's very good. I mean, don't get me wrong, top 10 team.
Good.
Florida State struggling. And I'm sure you know Mario Cristobal. I'm sure you've crossed paths with him and, at some point.
Yes.
It's a recruiting situation, right? You can't blame him. You get the sense that if Miami has the opportunity Saturday night, Leroy, they might try to make a statement against Florida State.
Oh, yeah, I guarantee it. If they can score 75, they're going to do it. They're going to do the same thing that Detroit tried to do to the Dallas Cowboys. Some teams, their foot is on the gas. There is no brake in the car. It's always on the gas. But that's Miami, because I remember when Miami it was the reciprocal. Miami was losing games, losing recruits. Now Miami has come up and Florida State has come down. But again, you recruit now for next year. So, these are the games that the recruits want to come to, whether you're in Miami or Florida State. You get your top recruits, your 5-letter guys, the 5-star guys. I mean, all that. They come in on this weekend to see Miami and Florida State because they've heard about the rivalry. So you just hope your leaders on the team, and it is a few, get together and let the kids know, hey, listen, throw out the records. We're trying to beat Miami.
Pro Football Hall of Famer Leroy Butler here with us. After your days at Florida State, you obviously went on to have a ridiculous career with the Green Bay Packers. Your Green Bay Packers come into your hometown here in Jacksonville on Sunday, Leroy. The game will be aired right here on 1010XL Radio. You actually have a couple of events scheduled that we want to tell people about with the Packers and the Jaguars doing battle on Sunday. But quickly to Green Bay, I mean, I don't know how they do it up there. right from your former teammate Brett Favre, Hall of Famer, to Aaron Rodgers, who's going to be a Hall of Famer. And now you got a kid in Jordan Love who is just a ferocious beast as well. I mean, you're talking 3 consecutive decades, 4 decades of crazy good quarterback play. Jordan Love looks like the next in a line of great quarterbacks up there on the frozen tundra.
Well, it does help us say that we're quarterback you. I get it. But here's why that we're in this position. I remember Brian Gutekunst, our general manager, in 2020, the pandemic's about to hit the following year. And you know what he said to himself? I want to be good in 2023 and 24. I'm going to get me a quarterback. Matter of fact, I'm going to move up to get him. And yes, he did not go to Alabama, Ohio State. He went to Utah State. It's Jordan Love. And people are like, what are you doing? Get Aaron Rodgers another receiver. Get him this. Get him some weapons. He's MVP. I get that. But why can't I do both? Why can't 2 things be true? Have a great quarterback and develop a quarterback in waiting. That's the reason why the Packers have done this. A lot of teams, they don't do that. They just put all the eggs in one basket, including the chicken. You got to win now. Who cares about the future? Well, the fan base, like ours, Ryan, we don't have an owner. We have shareholders. And I'll be fair, some of the shareholders didn't necessarily like the pick, but they love it now. Leads the league. I think he's tied with Baker Mayfield with touchdowns. But he does, at times, give you an opportunity to get interceptions, I think. So we got to calm that live arm down, but we are set for the next decade for sure.
One of the things I love about Green Bay is you always talk about wide receiver 1, right? We hope we have that here in Jacksonville with Brian Thomas, and I want to talk to you about him in a moment. Yeah, I know you're a big fan of his. Green Bay, Leroy, you got like 5 guys that there's no selfishness up there. There's no ego up there. The wide receivers, it's one guy one week, it's another guy the next week. It's almost refreshing in a way to see the way Matt LaFleur is running this offense.
No question about it. It's a lot of movement offense. San Francisco runs it with Brock Purdy. When he got all his guys, they move it at a high clip. The thing about it is when you're playing in an offense like this with Tucker Kraft at the tight end position, I mean, Dontavian Wicks, number 13, he had a hurt shoulder. Romeo Dobbs missed we had to suspend him because he missed practice. Comes back and caught 3 touchdowns in 2 games. These guys, and really Jaden Reed, our second-round draft pick from Michigan State, he's our move guy. I mean, he's kind of a guy that puts up big numbers. And plus, not to mention, we have Josh Jacobs at running back. And Ryan, I'll be honest with you, through 7 games, the offense still not clicking like they're going to be clicking when everybody gets everything they need. Oh, this offense is going to average 35 points a game. I mean, it's unbelievable. But you can't turn the ball over. You got to run the football, and you can't have drop passes. If you do that, you can beat anybody in this league. But if you don't, you can be beat.
I'll tell you the absolutely crazy thing. Again, final moments with Pro Football Hall of Famer Leroy Butler. The NFC North, I mean, it's almost must-win every week. The 4 teams there are insanely good. I mean, Chicago is technically in last place, and they're 4-2 on the year. I mean, there are really 4 good teams in that division.
Ryan, that's why I like being on your show on XL, 1010 XL. You have amazing questions, and you're smart. Think about this. Everybody used to say the NFC East was the toughest division. Dallas, the Giants, Eagles, and Commanders for years. It's just like saying the SEC is the best college division, but the Big Ten or the Big 12, they just sit back and wait their turn. Well, guess what? The Detroit Lions arguably is the best team in the league. You know, Minnesota just lost the game. They were undefeated. And as you astutely pointed out, Chicago with a rookie quarterback has won 4 games, and we've won 5 games. And Jordan Love missed 2 games. It's the toughest division in football as we stand here and sit today. So whenever you play somebody in the North, you're going to get roughed up, but you also have an opportunity to play a team that you may see down the line in the playoffs. Hey, you never know, maybe in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Jaguars play the entire division. So the Jaguars get to see them all up close and personal, including Green Bay on Sunday. Quickly, Leroy, I want to get to your events that you're going to have here in Jacksonville. But I know in talking to you earlier, we're very high on Brian Thomas Jr., the rookie out of LSU. He's already got over 500 receiving yards in only 7 games as a rookie. You played against the best of the best during your day in the NFL. What's your thought on the Jaguar playmaker there out of LSU?
I'll tell you this, and this can't be overstated enough. One of the best, if not the best, wide receiver in a Jags uniform, Jimmy Smith. The guy you couldn't cover him. Only time you cover Jimmy Smith if you just throw a blanket over him if you catch him sleeping at his house. Otherwise, he's wide open. Yeah, BT Jr. is going to rival that. This kid is something that I've never even seen at wide receiver. I mean, the speed, the height, the hands, the combination, he just got to get more targets. And the thing about it is he can learn from the vets, the Christian Kirk. And I know Gabe Davis was a big-time free agent. And, of course, Evan Ingram, I think, can rival any tight end, pass-catching tight end. So Trevor has weapons. But in our estimate, what we've been watching on film, Brian Thomas Jr. is probably one of the top receivers since Nico Collins is out at the Texans. He's the guy. People just don't know about it because he's in a small market. But we respect him. And at times, we're going to put Jair Alexander over there and say, man, hold little nephew down over there. Because if he go crazy, I mean, this game can go any kind of way.
Yeah, what we're hoping for here in Jacksonville is we know Green Bay coming off a big win over Houston. They have Detroit a week from Sunday and what will be a big nationally televised game. Dare I say sandwich game coming to 2-5 Jacksonville, right? Sandwiched in the middle. We'll see. You'll hear the game on 1010XL radio this Sunday. Leroy, with your Green Bay Packers coming to your hometown, obviously it's a big weekend for you, and you have some events planned here in town this week. Tell us about them.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ryan. Real quick, I do a lot of things with homelessness. So I work with changinghomelessness.org. We have a telethon this Friday that we're going to be making phone calls to raise money for people who need housing. And think about this. For some reason, in the future, you may have to get arrested because you can't afford housing. We want to stop that. What we want to do is help people get into affordable housing, jobs, food for the kids. And this hurricane, both of the hurricanes, made more people displaced. So we don't want to wait till everybody needs help. So we're out in front of it. And then on Saturday, I'll be at the Culver's on 101 Monument Road. For all the Packer fans are flying in, I think on Wednesday through Friday. You can come see me at Culver's. Culver's is one of my biggest sponsors. They help me with the Butler versus Bullying program, and they also have made donations to help people to get housing. So I just appreciate the platform, Ryan, because I try to help as much as I can. Everybody know I'm from Duval. I live in Wisconsin. My older kids live in Florida, Jacksonville, Florida. So 2 things can be true. I love Duval County, and I love the state of Wisconsin.
A great football player, but an even better person. Pro Football Hall of Famer Leroy Butler, always kind with us here on 1010XL in Jacksonville. Leroy, appreciate it. We'll certainly promote your events as the week goes on. Best of luck to the Packers on Sunday, and we'll talk soon, my friend.
Thank you so much, Ryan. And to all the Jaguar fans out there, you don't want to be in this coaching loop. You got to keep the coach you have now if you want to see Trevor really blossom. You can't keep giving the guy coaches every few years. You got to stay with Doug Peters and see this thing through. Thanks a lot, Ryan.
Appreciate it, Leroy. Thank you so much, pal. Thank you. Yo, Leroy Butler here with us on Hacker After Dark, and it was interesting talking to him earlier. Now, again, keep in mind that Doug Peterson was a former teammate of Leroy Butler. So take that into account. But there are more and more former players that you talk to that are outside of Jacksonville that kind of are vouching for that. You don't want to rock the boat with Trevor Lawrence. Now, again, if the Jaguars, finish 4-13, I think the end is going to be near, absolutely. But it was a good win yesterday. They're 2-5. We'll see what happens. At least the hot seat talk has calmed down for a week or so when it comes to Doug Peterson. When it comes to Trent Baalke, look, I've been very critical of him after, quite frankly, praising him this offseason. So I'm a little offended, Denmark. The Baalke has kind of made me look bad a little bit. But I'm going to go back to praising him here for a moment. Who were the stars yesterday? Tank Bigsby. Pick was questioned at the time. He was pretty darn good yesterday. Brian Thomas Jr. Pick was questioned at the time. Was pretty darn good yesterday. Ventrell Miller. I know some of you that hated the Ventrell Miller pick. And you know who you are. I got texts from you. I got tweets from you. I got Facebook messages from you. Some of you hated the Ventrell Miller pick. Ventrell Miller's been one of their best players on defense the last couple of weeks. We're actually going to talk with Tom McManus about Ventrell Miller coming up towards the bottom of the 7 o'clock hour. So Baalke had a good day yesterday. There's no doubt about that. It's a week-to-week league. If they lose by 20 to Green Bay, both guys will be back on the hot seat, no question about it. But for the here and now, on Monday evening, October the 21st, good day yesterday for both Trent Baalke and Jaguar head coach Doug Peterson. We'll look around the NFL a little bit coming up. Again, former Jaguar linebacker, my buddy Tom McManus joins me in less than 15 minutes. Monday evening, Hacker After Dark. Remember, 2 Monday Night Football games tonight. You got the Baltimore Ravens and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They kick off at 8:15. That's on ABC and ESPN. And then ESPN Plus only. I know some of you will love that. ESPN Plus only. Streaming tonight, Chargers Cardinals. That's a 9 o'clock Eastern kickoff. As a little Monday Night Football doubleheader here on this Monday evening, the 21st day of October.
It's the ultimate tailgate.
You could win a weekly tailgate combo pack from Southern Steer Butcher, valued at $100. And monthly winners get a Corona tailgate tent with a cooler, chair, and collectible football. Enter at 1010XL.com.
This is David Lane. After suffering through several painful injuries to my shoulder, back, and knees, I've taken my issues to Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, and without fail, they've been a tremendous help toward solving my problems. If you have any orthopedic situations, don't procrastinate. Take action today. Give those aches and pains to the pros at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. You'll be glad you did.
Relieve pain and get back to life. SOS. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
I'm Chris Campione. In a world of big box law firms with satellite offices, there's something special about having a local legal team that cares about you and your community. We're not just lawyers, we're your neighbors. We understand the unique challenges facing the Jacksonville community because we live here too. At Campione Law, Campione Cares isn't just a tagline, it's our commitment to you. Campione Law, your trusted lawyers after an accident. CampioneLaw.com.
Count on Campione. Campione Law.
These are interesting economic times. That's why it's so important to have someone you can count on. That's ITP Partners. Jacksonville folks taking care of our Jacksonville money. Experience? You best believe you want to give your hard-earned money to folks you trust. Jeff Hartman, Chris Bryan, Dan Abel, Reed Wingate, Scott Regner, Janice Cobb, and Reagan Wright have the expertise and knowledge to help clients in their financial lives, focusing on investment management, financial planning, and risk management. ITP Partners. Financial partners for life. Securities offered through American Portfolios Financial Services, Inc. Member FINRA SIPC.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwood. Clayton, you talk a lot about a diamond's cut grade. Why is a diamond graded for cut?
Frank, that's simple. We cut grade diamonds to show a measurement of beauty and light return to the person looking at the diamond so they can understand the value difference between a diamond cut for maximum beauty and one cut for maximum weight. Now, it gets a little more complicated when you find out that the American Gem Society Laboratory actually assigns performance grades and proportion grades using patented computer software and grades for polish and symmetry using a microscope. The end result of cut grading is a final grade that can go from a 0 or ideal to a 10, which is poor.
Each of these grades are priced a little differently. That's why you can see a diamond with a fine color and clarity priced low, particularly on the internet, because a trained gemologist won't buy it for resale because of the poor cut. Unfortunately, these type deals aren't good deals. They're bad deals for the unknowing customer.
Underwoods in San Marco, Avondale, and the shops of Ponte Vedra.
It's soccer around the world, and here at home on the Sporting Jack Soccer Hour on 1010XL. Join Cole Pepper, Mauricio Ruiz, and Becky Burley for Soccer Talk.
Tuesday nights at 6
on 1010 AM.
The Money Pages brings you this week's Red Zone featured player of the week, number 13, Jaguars wide receiver Christian Kirk. Kirk played college ball at Texas A&M and was drafted by the Arizona Cardinals in the second round in 2018. Make sure to pick up this week's Jags game program with a commemorative ticket of Christian Kirk inside. Download the Money Pages app for weekly specials. Money Pages, official sponsor of your Jacksonville Jaguars.
When pests invade your space, you don't just need them out, you need them out fast. And you need to keep them out. At Terminix, we show up for you and eliminate pests quicker. Because we care about what matters most to you. When pests show up, so do we. Don't live with a pest problem. Terminix it. Visit Terminix.com today to schedule a free inspection online. That's TERMINIX.com. TERMINIX.com. Terminix it.
Collisions happen on every play in football. Collisions also happen every day on the road. If you need auto body repair, from a $30 job to a $30,000 job, trust San Jose Collision in Mandarin.
Former Georgia defensive tackle and pro wrestler Bill Goldberg and Bowl standout and Georgia cornerback Mike Fisher will be inducted into the Florida-Georgia Hall of Fame. For tickets to the celebration lunch Friday, November 1st, go to GAFLJax.com.
This is Hayes Carlyon for Skylife Elite. Have you ever thought about aircraft ownership as another potential revenue stream and as a tool for tax savings? Put your tax money to work for you while enjoying the benefits of private personal travel. Skylife Elite has over a decade of experience in business aviation and can guide you through the process with their expert staff. Call my friends over at Skylife Elite at 490-9332 or find them at flyskylife.com to get the rundown on everything owning an airplane can do for you.
I-9 Sports covers the First Coast with great sports for kids 3 to 17, and winter and spring registration is open right now. New girls volleyball and flag at Duval Charter, plus plenty for boys and girls in Nocatee, too. It's all at i9sports.com. Enter 1010 in the promo code.
Hello, this is Father Nicholas Lowe. I want to talk to you about picking the right battles to fight in this life. Every day, we have opportunities to get upset and angry. But I want you to realize that sometimes you have to ignore in this life so that you can soar into the kingdom of heaven. My encouragement, friends, to you is to pick the right battles to fight. Fight only battles that help you draw closer to God, because you have to ignore so that you can soar.
For more inspiration, log on to stjohnthedivine.com.
Hayes Carlyon here. If you're like me in the fall, you want to watch football, not clean. Enter Molly Maid, voted Bold City Best Cleaning Service 3 years in a row. Molly Maid is reliable, friendly, and thorough. Visit mollymaid.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Former Jaguar linebacker Tom McManus joins me in less than 10 minutes. Recap the win over New England. Look ahead to Green Bay coming in here on Sunday. You know, I mentioned at the top, really good time of year in the world of sports, right? The World Series is set. If you don't have a dog in the fight, like if you're just a sports fan and want to watch good theater, good cinema, the Los Angeles Dodgers and the New York Yankees, I mean, how good is that going to be? Are you kidding me? Shohei Ohtani on one side, Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton on the other. L.A. and New York, Dodgers, Yankees. Whew. Major League Baseball is loving that. The NBA kicks off their regular season, or I should say tips off their regular season tomorrow night. Lakers on the court tomorrow night. I believe the Celtics are on the court tomorrow night. The Orlando Magic and the Miami Heat tip off on Wednesday night to begin their seasons. If you missed Jalen Suggs, he got a $150 million contract extension with Orlando earlier today. A lot of expectations in Orlando. We're going to be airing some Magic games. Quite a few Magic games, as a matter of fact, here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. In fact, I believe that starts this weekend. Orlando, Memphis, I want to say. Saturday night, you'll hear it right here on 1010XL. So NBA kicking off. The NHL is in full swing as well. The World Series. And then, of course, obviously, we're really picking up steam. College football and the National Football League. Quickly to college. Miami survived on Saturday. They're playing with fire. I mean, look, they're 7-0. But they did not look dominant at all against Virginia Tech, Cal, or Louisville. But they've won every game. And if the Heisman Trophy was to be awarded right now, I mean, Cam Ward's the winner, right? He's the best player in college football. Miami is a 21-point favorite over Florida State Saturday night in Coral Gables. Georgia goes into Texas and wins. Hey, Texas. Hey, Oklahoma. Welcome to the Southeastern Conference. Oklahoma, you look flat out lost. Texas, you got your butt whipped in your home stadium in prime time. This ain't the Big 12 anymore, boys. As we always know, it just means more in the SEC. And Texas and Oklahoma are finding that out pretty quick. Back into the Jacksonville Jaguars. Talk about the win, talk about the future, and let's spend a moment on the defensive side of the ball with the original 55 of the Jacksonville Jaguars. My buddy Tom McManus joins me next. Monday night, Hacker After Dark. Glad you're with us right here on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM.
He'll cross the line into the danger zone so you can be informed from the safety of home.
Out here, it's military law, and I'm in charge of enforcing it.
Hayes Carline takes you behind enemy lines. Brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors on 1010XL.
If you suffer from constant burning, tingling, or numbness in your hands or feet, it could be a serious condition called neuropathy. I'm Dr. Nathan Riddle, DC with Riddle Wellness in Ponte Vedra. Neuropathy is treatable, and we have seen great results by using state-of-the-art, non-invasive therapies to target damaged nerves, reduce symptoms, and improve nerve function. Call 904-395-5598 to schedule your free consultation today and learn how you can live pain-free. Call 904-395-5598.
Now, the Randy Marion Cadillac Drive of the Game. Randy Marion Cadillac of Jacksonville. Drive to the game in luxury with Randy Marion Cadillac of Jacksonville.
The Teal and Black needed to get points on the board early while across the pond, and the Young Guns made sure that they delivered in a big spot. Thanks to an 8-play sequence capped off by a Brian Thomas Jr. touchdown, Jacksonville would make the score 10-7 with 9:21 left in the first half. The 68-yard drive is your Randy Marion Cadillac Drive of the Game.
Hey, John, I think everyone in Jacksonville is ready to elevate their ride.
Absolutely. At Randy Marion Cadillac in Jacksonville, we have stunning 2024 Escalades and Lyrics in stock right now.
And the great news is you can get a $4,000 Escalade loyalty rebate.
Don't wait for the 2025 models to come in.
Luxury is just a visit away. Randy Marion Cadillac, Southside Boulevard, Jacksonville.
Not available with some other offers. Must take retail delivery by 10/31/24 plus tax tag title $8.99 admin fee and resist all. Unapproved credit.
Tell them Jennifer sent ya.
Injured in an accident? Have mounting medical bills? Can't work? Don't worry. Zach's got your back. I'm Zach Von Rowan of Von Rowan Law. I will fight for the compensation that you deserve. Set up your free consultation at zachsgotyourback.com.
Now that's what I call high-quality H2O.
If you want high-quality water in your home at a fair price that won't scare you to death, then talk to someone who knows water and is not a pushy salesman. Contact your local water boy, Keith. I install premium equipment and can repair or even rebuild your existing system. In a business known for aggressive sales tactics, let me show you how my approach is different. If you've got any water problems, contact the water boy at waterboyjack.com.
This is Dr. Kevin Murphy with Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, congratulating this week's high school scholar athlete, Mason DuBois, senior volleyball player at Mandarin High. Mason is a member of the National Honor Society, has applied to attend the University of Tampa. Congratulations, Macy.
Grab your lucky spot on the couch, because traditions make Sunday easy to enjoy. Bud Light,
Easy to Sunday, easy to enjoy. Bud Light is the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Enjoy responsibly. 21 plus. Copyright 2024 Anheuser-Busch. Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
There are 3 certainties in life: death, taxes, and if you stay in your home long enough, a new roof. Pick it here for our friends at Lockhart Roofing. Nobody better in Jacksonville. How do I know? They are a local certified Master Elite contractor, and that means they have a GAF Master Elite warranty. That's the best in the roofing industry. In this day and age, don't settle for cheaper discount roofers. Lockhart Roofing has been here for decades. They aren't going anywhere. Call my friends at Lockhart Roofing, 994-3851. That's 994-3851. Lockhart Roofing, Jacksonville's best for Jacksonville people.
Halloween's coming alive at Target. Jackie and Gordy, the Jack-O-Lanterns, here with a front porch view of Target's Halloween deals, like Best House on the Block trick-or-treat candy starting at $5.99.
Sweet. Don't forget, can't wait to wear it costumes from $15.
Can't wait to see it. Oh, and decorating and pumpkin carving kits for $5.
That's how I got my big toothy grin.
This week only, trick-or-treat candy starts at $5.99, costumes from $15, and decorating and pumpkin carving kits for $5. Make your Halloween come alive at Target. Restrictions apply.
Mia here, hoping everyone had a profitable betting weekend on MyBookie. And guess what? You have an absolute treat tonight with a Monday night doubleheader. The Ravens go to Tampa and play the Bucs with an over-under point total already at 49.5. The Ravens defense is a pass funnel on MyBookie right now for a same-game prop parlay. If Baker Mayfield gets to 260 passing yards and 2 touchdowns, it returns $246 on a $100 bet. I really like those odds with how the Bucs offense is buzzing. The Chargers, meanwhile, visit the Cardinals, and they're going to try and slow the game down and run it all day because that's what Jim Harbaugh likes to do. I'm betting the under 44 game total. MyBookie has the best sign-up bonus in the industry, folks, for Florida bettors. Our listeners can sign up and use promo code 1010XL to claim a bonus that doubles your money on your first deposit up to $1,000. Promo code 1010XL to claim your double deposit bonus for Monday Night Football. Bet anywhere, anytime, and make your season a winning season with MyBookie.
Do you feel a ghastly presence in your septic tank this Halloween? A septic emergency is spookier than a haunted house. But fear not. Duck Rooter is here to rescue you from the depths of septic despair.
I'm Vlad, the Valiant Septic Tech, ready to cast out the demons from your septic system. If your toilet's acting possessed or your pipes are stirring up a witch's brew, we got the magic wand to fix it all.
Call Duck Rooter at 904-862-6769 to schedule your septic tank pumping today.
57% of the Boys and Girls Clubs of Northeast Florida alumni say the club saved their lives. The Boys and Girls Clubs of Northeast Florida support over 5,000 local youths each day. Help support this work and have some fun at the same time. Join us at the Beaches Barbecue Bash, Monday, October 28th at ABBQ Atlantic Beach for barbecue, great beverages, live music, and an auction to positively impact our youth each day. Learn more at bgcnf.org/events.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line.
Hello.
We can wiggle it.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. The Jaguars coming off a victory over the New England Patriots. They got a big one on Sunday as Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers roll in. Jacksonville now 2-5 on the year. Let's talk about where they are and, more importantly, how they get out of the hole that they are in. With former 55 of the Jacksonville Jaguars, the original 55 of the Jacksonville Jaguars. You hear him weekly here on 1010XL, Fridays on Jaguars Today. Of course, that's my buddy, Tom McManus. Tommy, how we doing, pal?
I'm doing great, Hack. What a difference a week makes, huh? Everybody's in a happy mood.
Yeah, it certainly beats the alternative. There's been a lot of Mondays around here where it's been far from happy. Tommy, the competition was what it was. New England's not very good, but the Jaguars just needed a W, man. They needed a win, and they got one, and from that standpoint, it was a much, much needed outcome.
Well, I'll tell you, it was. And I'll tell you another thing. I really love their attitude. I thought the offensive line played extremely well. They imposed their will. I mean, I got done watching the film earlier today and the replay and just watching our line do work, man. Walker Little, he could be your MVP of the game, the way he came in. He was very physical. The running game was great because those guys up front were moving guys. They were getting people out of the way. The backs were hitting it at the right time. It's amazing what the team can look like when everybody executes and plays with the right attitude.
Tommy, offensively, the stars yesterday, I want to get to Brian Thomas, I want to get to Tank Bigsby, but I want to talk about your position first. As a former linebacker, you tell me, because you're the guy to ask, is Ventrell Miller playing as well as most people believe he is?
Yeah, I think so. He might look. I think the backers and sometimes even the safeties are out of position in the passing game. I don't think Ventrell Miller's as bad as Lloyd, but there are times where he's out of position. But he makes up for it in the amount of plays that he brings to the table. I think both of them. Look, I think Lloyd is really good against the run, and I mean really good. He's got good instincts to the ball. He's a big hitter. He loves contact. I like him such. I don't like him in coverage, Jack. I mean, even the plays that don't that they don't throw to his way, his guy seems to be open all the time. And a good QB is going to find that. They're going to go after him. I'm a little worried about that. But, look, I think overall our defense did a good job, held them to 2.5 yards per carry. I don't like the inconsistent pass rush still. I don't like some of the defensive play calls. That play call that they had Josh Allen covering the back out of the backfield, running all across the formation to go catch him, was absolutely insane. I don't know what the heck they were even thinking there on the touchdown to Hasty. But overall, I thought the defense, they came up good enough, held them to 16 points. And, they got to clean some up in that coverage. I am concerned about a team being able to throw on them because any QB and offensive coordinator worth their salt knows that there are weaknesses in the back seven of this football team.
Former Jaguar linebacker Tom McManus here with us on Hacker After Dark. Tommy, if it were you, Foye Oluwakin's going to come off IR sooner rather than later, maybe as early as this week. We'll see what happens. What happens when Foye comes back in? Don't you have to find a way to keep Ventrell Miller out there?
Yeah, I believe that. Here's what I would do. I'd probably play, and I know no one, we're all sick and tired of the substitution. Foyer's my starter regardless. I would like to see Lloyd on rundowns, although Miller can play the run equally as good or just as good, I think. And then when it's nickel and dime, I don't want to see Lloyd covering anybody. I want to see him on that line of scrimmage doing something in the pass rush game. And you can get away with that. So nickel, my starting backers would be Foye and Ventrell Miller. A dime, it would be Foye, although I'd like to know if Miller knows the entire system. Because Foye, one thing about Foye, he's ultra smart. He knows where to be. He knows all the coverages. He's pretty good in that area. So that's what I would do. Miller's got to be on the field. But to me, he's got to be on the field, especially when they need his speed, they need his coverage skill, and they need him in space to make plays because he's very good at that.
Tommy, you tell me, man, they've never replaced Arden Key in the last 2 years. I mean, potentially, could Devin Lloyd be an Arden Key type guy? And if so, why haven't they tried that yet?
Listen, I think he can. I mean, when they line him up, standing up on the A-gap and doing games here, that he's pretty effective. And he has been since he's got here. One thing I think about Devin is he can rush the passer. He's long. He's good. He's quick. He can get through the gaps. I would try him. I would also try, I don't know, maybe see what Miles Cole can do. Is it time for a Miles Cole sighting? You don't have a number 3. I know Eric's kind of number 3. By the way, Eric Armstead played great yesterday. From the 3 technique, He was great. He was great against their guards. They couldn't block him, and that's where he needs to be. But they got to find somebody, Hack. They can't just rely on Trayvon and Josh Hines-Allen every single snap. Right now they have to, but they got to find another guy that can do something. I think to keep Lloyd, Foye, and Miller on the field at the same time, I think you got to move Lloyd up to the line of scrimmage, and let's see if he can pass rush.
Tom, final defensive question. Tyson Campbell back in the lineup yesterday. How did you feel about his performance, and what does that do to that secondary?
Yeah, it's good. I think it helps Ryan Nielsen run what he wants to run. Look, they eased him in there. Should have had a pick. That was a great play, but maybe next time I'll hang on to the ball. Cisco's got to hang on to that ball, too. I mean, he should have had a game. That could have been a sealer right there, shutting that drive down. But nonetheless, I thought, it was good. It was good. I mean, look, again, the pass defense is the Achilles heel of this defense right now, Hack. And it goes to every guy. They all got to play better. They all got to do better. But overall, I thought Tyson Campbell brought a nice game to the table and brought some good energy, too. You know, listen, I've been saying it for a couple of years now. I've never thought it's the talent or lack thereof. I always thought it was the attitude, the preparation, and the want. And I think we saw it yesterday. Hopefully they can carry that in to the next games coming up and beyond.
Couple more for former Jaguar linebacker Tom McManus. You hear him all over the 1010XL airwaves, including Jaguars Today. You also hear his podcast there at 1010XL.com. Tommy, offensively, they look like they have two studs, one at running back, one at wide receiver. Let's begin with Brian Thomas. You played with Jimmy Smith, right? You're friends with Jimmy Smith. I'm not sure if they've had a wide receiver like this since Jimmy. Maybe an honorable mention to Allen Robinson in his younger days here. Brian Thomas, over 500 yards receiving in 7 games. He's top 10 in the league in receiving yardage, 4 touchdowns, 30 grabs. I mean, what a find Brian Thomas was with the 23rd overall pick.
Oh, he's absolutely incredible, you know, and he is all as advertised. You know, I think Jerry Sullivan was coaching the wide receivers over there at LSU for a while. They teach those guys how to run routes, man. He set up Christian Gonzalez on that bomb. That was a thing of beauty. But here's what I really like about him. He'll go over the middle all day long. He is not afraid of it. So he's not no one-trick pony, just go deep and ball. That guy will run digs, he'll run slants, he'll run down and ins, not afraid to do it. Get him the ball as much as you can. I think the run game yesterday definitely opened that up. As former backer, man, when they're pounding the rock on you, Hack, it's tough not to bite on play action. That goes for every defender out there. So when that run game's going and you're worried about it, they throw a play action and the wide receiver savvy enough to lull you to sleep for just a split second and then make his move, and then a great throw by Trevor. But, yeah, that kid's an ultra weapon, and, man, I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do further on.
Tommy, to that point, we talked about keeping Miller on the field when Oluwakin comes back. Well, when ETN comes back, I mean, look, I love Travis, and I love him as a third down back in the passing game. But I got to be honest, man, I don't know how you take carries away from Bigsby. You're going to split him up when ETN comes back because ETN deserves that, and he's a good player. But you got to keep Tank Bigsby out on that field as well, don't you?
You know, I don't know. I'm going Tank number 1, and like you said, third down back, you know, in the passing game. That's where Travis is really effective. And I like what Dearness Johnson can do, too. So, if anything, I think he just bumps Dearness down. But I would still go with Tank as my lead back. I don't know if I'm splitting carries either, man. I'm going to see how the game goes. If Tank keeps running like the way he's running and my line's blocking the way he's blocking, I'm going to ride that Tank train as much as possible with giving him some spells with ETN when needed. And that'll be a nice change of pace. And then when it's a passing down, it'll be ETN. Look, here's the deal, Hack, and this is nothing against Travis Etienne because I like him a lot. Excuse me, but if Tank could do what ETN does in the passing game, ETN may be on the trade block, brother. I'm telling you right now. But he can't, and that's what makes Travis Etienne special, I think, the way he can be a part of that passing attack.
Tom, as we begin to wrap up, what was your assessment of Trevor Lawrence yesterday?
Yeah, great. He missed the throw to Kirk in the end zone. That was an out and up. He should have led him to the pylon. For some reason, he thought back shoulder. So they were a little off. I don't know. That doesn't mean it was a bad throw, but something was off there, whether the communication or something, because he had him. If he just let him a tiny bit, I think he toe taps in the back corner of that end zone for 6 points. Other than that, I thought Trevor played a really great game. I think his attitude was there, man. There was no quit yesterday. There was plenty of fire all across the board. And, he had it too. So I hope they can bottle that up and carry it on as Green Bay comes to town.
And let's talk about Green Bay as we say goodbye. I mean, Jordan Love is playing terrific football. They're running the ball with Josh Jacobs. They had a really good win against Houston. The one thing I'll say, and I mentioned this to Coach Campo earlier, big win over Houston yesterday. Green Bay's got a gigantic game in Lambeau next Sunday against Detroit, national TV. And sandwiched in the middle is this trip to the 2-5 Jaguars. I don't know if that'll mean anything necessarily. I just think it's worth pointing out. But clearly Jacksonville is going to have to play their A-plus game to win on Sunday.
No doubt. And look, I think the crack in the armor is Joe Mixon ran all over them yesterday. That was a tough win. I watched that game. Came down to the wire. It was a great win for Green Bay, no doubt about it. But Houston gave them a run for their money. We've given Houston a run for their money. Anything can happen in the NFL and any given Sunday. But if we don't pound the rock and keep them off the field and then hit them with play action, we're going to have a tough outing because I'm still not sold on our D. I think they can be had, but the way to combat that is by having a strong running attack and a strong offensive performance.
You, of course, get Tom McManus every Friday, Jaguars Today. Tommy, tell folks about the podcast, man, when it is and where they can find it.
Absolutely. So catching up with Tommy Mack, it's on Mondays and Fridays at 12 noon. We go live on Facebook, on my personal Facebook page, but then we share it all over the place. We're on 1010XL, the Jaguar YouTube channel, all over social media. All you got to do is type in Catching Up with Tommy Mack.
The original 55 for the Jacksonville Jaguars, my buddy Tom McManus. Tommy, I know you're busy. Thank you for the time, brother. We'll talk again soon.
All right, my man. Thanks, Zach.
Now, the cool down from the cool guys at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Fast, reliable, and honest service since '87.
And thank you to my buddy Tom McManus for joining me tonight here on Hacker After Dark. Always love talking Jaguar football with Tommy, particularly after a win like the Jaguars had yesterday. Look, New England wasn't the best team. In fact, they're probably one of, if not the worst teams in the NFL, but I don't care. The Jaguars were 1-5. It was desperate times yesterday at Wembley Stadium in London, and the Jaguars just needed a freaking W, man. And they went out and got it in pretty dominating fashion, even after falling behind 10-0 to go out there and still get the win, 32-16, just running it down the Patriots' throats in the second half. Brian Thomas was doing his thing. Tank Bigsby was doing his thing. Of course, Parker Washington, the 97-yard punt return for a touchdown, the longest punt return for a TD in Jaguar franchise history. It was a good day. It was a feel-good, maybe a get-right game, if you will, and I hope you enjoyed it because the gauntlet starts now for the Jaguars beginning this Sunday when the 5-2 Green Bay Packers come in. But for what it was, a victory, the Jaguars desperately needed it. On Sunday against New England, they're now 2-5 on the year. Well, that will just about do it. It has been a very busy Monday evening here on Hacker After Dark. We certainly appreciate you guys hanging out with us on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM. We have a ton of people to thank. Again, the original 55 for the Jacksonville Jaguars, my buddy Tom McManus. Always enjoy catching up with Tommy. You can catch him on Jaguars Today on Fridays. You also hear his podcast twice a week at 1010XL.com. Thank you to Pro Football Hall of Famer. He was a terrific football player, but honestly, he's even a better guy, man. That's my pal, Leroy Butler. Just does a terrific job covering the Packers, talking Florida State. Does so many great things in the community, both here in Jacksonville and up in Wisconsin, where, of course, he had a terrific career for the Green Bay Packers. We talked to Leroy about those Green Bay Packers. We certainly talked about his alma mater with the Florida State Seminoles as they get ready for Miami. And Leroy will be having a couple of special events this week to get ready for Green Bay, coming to his hometown to play the Jacksonville Jaguars. We'll tell you more about them as the week goes on. If you missed that interview, you can go to 1010XL.com, the on-demand section. But always appreciate Pro Football Hall of Famer Leroy Butler taking time out for us here on Hacker After Dark. And back in hour number one, my buddy Dave Campo, former head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. It's always Monday night coaching with Campo as we reviewed the New England win, and we did look ahead to that game against the Green Bay Packers. And, of course, Dave Campo, Leon Searcy, and myself will have another edition of the fifth quarter for you on Sunday, 2 hours after the Jaguars and the Packers go final. We'll be on the road this week. Island Girls Cigar Bar over on Gate Parkway. Hopefully we'll be lighting up some victory cigars if the Jaguars can pull the upset and get the win over Green Bay. Green Bay opened as a 4.5-point favorite coming up this Sunday against the Jacksonville Jaguars. We will be back tomorrow night on a Tuesday, and we will do it all over again beginning at 8 o'clock. Dylan Denmark was your producer tonight. Dylan, great job as always. I'm the hacker, Ryan Green. And again, Jacksonville, thank you for spending part of your Monday evening with us right here on Hacker After Dark, on 1010XL, and on 92.5 FM. So for all of us here on HAD, have an absolutely terrific remainder of your Monday evening, and we will talk to you again tomorrow night on a Tuesday beginning at 8 o'clock. Until then, good night, Jacksonville.